Today I want to talk about something I keep hearing, something that bothers me quite a bit. People my age keep saying young folks don't want to work, that they just sit around complaining, expecting everything handed to them. And I gotta tell you, I think we're wrong about this. Dead wrong. So let me explain why. I was born in 1939, grew up during the war, started working when I was 14 years old at Henderson's grocery store. 60 cents an hour. Swept floors, stocked shelves, helped customers carry groceries to their cars. Worked hard, never complained much. When I turned 18, I got hired at the telephone company, Indiana Bell. Started as a line worker, climbing poles, fixing connections. Good, honest work. Made about $1.25 an hour when I started. Doesn't sound like much now, does it? But here's what that $1.25 could do. Working 40 hours a week, I could afford an apartment, could buy groceries, put gas in my car, and still save a little bit at the end of the month. In 1960, when Helen and I got married, I was bringing home about $50 a week, roughly $2,600 a year. We rented a little apartment for $60 a month, left us plenty for everything else we needed, and we still managed to put some away. A year later, we bought our first house, paid $11,000 for it, got a 30-year mortgage at about 6% interest. My salary at that point was maybe $3,000 a year, so that house cost me about 3.5 times my annual income. 3.5 times. Now, I looked this up recently. Had my grandson help me with the computer. The average house in America today costs about 8 to 10 times what people make in a year. In some cities, 15, 20 times. How's a young person supposed to manage that? And housing's just part of it. Back in my day, you needed a high school diploma to get a decent job, maybe some trade school or on-the-job training. College was for doctors, lawyers, professors, specialized fields. I never went to college, didn't need to. The phone company hired me straight out of high school, trained me themselves, and I stayed there 42 years. Now, everybody tells these kids they have to go to college, must get a degree or they'll never make anything of themselves. So they go. They take out loans, $50,000, $100,000, sometimes more than that. Then they graduate and can't find jobs paying enough to cover those loans. My grandson went to school for engineering, smart kid. Came out owing $60,000. Got a job making $45,000 a year. After taxes, after rent, after his loan payments, he's barely got anything left at the end of the month. I never had to deal with anything like that. And when I see him working that hard just to stay above water, I can't call him lazy, I just can't. Here's something else people forget. Companies used to take care of their workers. I worked for Indiana Bell 42 years. Same company, start to finish. They gave me raises, promotions, training opportunities. When I retired, I got a pension. A real pension I could actually live on. Healthcare was covered. Didn't have to worry about going bankrupt if I got sick. Young people today don't have any of that. Companies hire them as contractors to avoid paying benefits. Lay them off the second profits dip. There's no loyalty anymore. No pension at the end of the road. My grandson's company told him he should feel grateful just to have a job. Meanwhile, their CEO made $40 million last year. $40 million. And they're telling kids making $40,000 they need to work harder. I see young people juggling multiple jobs, working their regular job during the day, then driving for those ride services at night, delivering food on weekends, doing whatever they can to make rent. And people my age look at that and say, well, I worked hard too. Nobody gave me anything. But it's different now. We worked hard, sure. But we got something substantial for our effort. We could buy a house, raise a family, retire with some dignity and security. These kids put in the same hours, sometimes more, and they're just trying to keep their heads above water. The game changed on them. Nobody told them the rules would be this different. I talk to young people sometimes. My grandkids, their friends, folks I meet around town. You know what I hear from them? They're exhausted, burned out, working jobs they hate because they need the health insurance, putting off having children because they can't afford it, living with roommates into their 30s because rent costs too much. They're tired, worn down, and I understand why. Now, I'm not saying everything was perfect back in my day. Far from it. We had serious problems. Racism was worse. Women couldn't even get credit cards without their husband's permission. A lot needed to change, and I'm glad some of it did. But economically, we had it easier, much easier. One income could support a family. You didn't need to go into crushing debt for an education. Companies valued their employees instead of treating them like replaceable parts. Somewhere along the way that disappeared, and I think my generation bears some responsibility for it. We voted for policies that cut taxes for the wealthy and big corporations. We let wages stay flat while everything else got more expensive. We pushed kids toward college without worrying about what it would cost them. We built a system that worked pretty well for us. Then we made it harder for everyone coming after. So when I hear people my age complaining about young folks, it makes me angry. We're not looking at the full picture. We're comparing their situation to ours like the circumstances are the same. They're not even close. A dollar doesn't buy what it used to. Jobs don't provide what they used to. Working hard doesn't get you what it used to. And instead of acknowledging any of that, we call them lazy. It's not fair. I'll tell you what I see when I look at young people today. I see resilience, creativity, people figuring out how to survive in a system stacked against them. They're starting businesses on the side, fighting for better wages, questioning why things have to work this way. And honestly, good for them. Maybe my generation got too comfortable. Maybe we accepted things we shouldn't have. Maybe we were too scared to rock the boat. These kids aren't scared of that. And I think it makes some folks uncomfortable. Here's what I wish more people my age understood. Young people aren't asking for handouts. They want the same chances we had. They want to work hard and have it actually lead somewhere. They want to afford a place to live without killing themselves. They want an education that doesn't bury them in debt for decades. Is that really unreasonable? Because from where I'm sitting, we had all that, and we didn't think we were asking for too much. I'm not saying young people are perfect. Nobody is. Every generation has problems, blind spots, things they get wrong. But lazy? I don't see it. I see them working harder than we ever did, getting less in return. And instead of helping, too many people my age just criticize from the sidelines. We raised these kids. We built this economy. We told them what path to follow. Maybe before we judge them, we should look at what we actually handed them and ask ourselves honestly if we'd want to trade places. Oh, and before I go, if you like this one, you might want to check out the story I told about my wife Helen, about what 59 years of marriage taught me. Worth a listen, I think. Well, I probably upset some folks with this one. That's all right. Sometimes the truth makes people uncomfortable, but it still needs saying. If you're a young person watching this, keep going. I see the effort you're putting in. I see how hard you're working. You deserve better than what you're getting. And if you're my age, maybe take a step back and really look at their situation. Compare it honestly to what we faced at their age. This is Old Walt. Take care of yourself. And maybe show the next generation a little more understanding than they've been getting. I'll see you next time.